Today I'm taking on a project that in a couple weeks from now, I could very well be asking myself, what were we thinking? Today we start renovating our master bathroom. Now this is going to be a long project. First I have got a demo. Then we've got to get the plumber in here to move around some pipes because that is something we are not equipped to do. And then we start building. I'm really excited for this process, a little nervous because I've never renovated a bathroom before, but we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna take you along with me and I can't wait to show you what the end result's gonna look like. Now the first thing I need to do is clean out the vanity area and the bathroom. All right, who's ready to get started? Who's also terrified? Let's go. The bathroom is currently broken into two different sections. The vanity area, which is currently a glorified linen closet, and an ensuite, which is about the size of a powder room. Taking out the vanity is going to be one of the easiest parts of this project, so that's where we're going to start. It was only screwed into the wall in a few places, so once those screws were out, we were able to lift up the top and pull it out. The mirrors were sitting in brackets, so I really just taped it off as a precaution. When taking out the mirrors, it's easiest to unscrew the top brackets first so then you can lift the mirror out of the bottom brackets and easily carry it away. Next came the fun part, the demo. I started by ripping out all of the drywall. Now I would love to tell you that there are foolproof tips and tricks to get the drywall out in big pieces, but if they exist, I don't know what they are. You just have to use your mallet to punch some holes in the wall to loosen everything up, and then pull it out from there. It does help to use a utility knife to cut any area that was caulked, such as around baseboards or door frames. All right, the drywall is out, it is in the truck, ready to go to the dump, and we are moving on to the studs. Now, the studs are going to be nailed in, which is going to make them a little bit more difficult to get out. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a reciprocating saw and make this super easy. We're going to take our saw, and for each beam, we're going to cut on a diagonal. And what that diagonal is going to do is it's going to allow us to separate the two pieces, top and bottom, very easily, as opposed to a straight line where they can easily get stuck. The diagonal will allow us to just kind of pull them apart, and then we can rip the top one down and pull the bottom one out. Now these studs are most likely going to be nailed in directly into the stud from the ceiling and from the floor, which makes them a real challenge to get out if you're not pulling them on different angles. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. If you don't have a reciprocating saw, you can certainly try knocking these out with just a mallet or a hammer, but the saw or any kind of saw is going to be your best bet. It's day 2 of the demo, and today we are getting things done. I don't have that much left on my plate anymore. All we have to do today are the carpet, the tile, and the vanity. Now, the carpet's gonna be super easy. We've done that before. We know how to do it, so I'm gonna go ahead and save that for last, just so I have a nice place to kneel for the rest of the day. The tile, though, that's gonna be a completely different beast. I've got a bunch of tools up here to figure out which tool's gonna be the right one to pull up this tile. I think I'm gonna start with a shovel just to see if I can scrape it all off. If that doesn't work, then we might have to go to a crowbar or even go the old-fashioned way and just knock those tiles off one by one before I can get to the plywood underneath. After that's done, we move on to the vanity. I'm gonna have Kevin help me with that because 1, it's really big and heavy, and 2, I do not know how to do plumbing at all. So unless we want a flooded house, it's better that we save this to somebody that knows what they're doing. So stick with me. It's gonna be hopefully a quick day. Hopefully we can get this done fast, but I will show you how to do it along the way. The shoveling worked for about 5 minutes and then came to an abrupt stop. Attempt 2 I tried to use a crowbar to pull up the full sheet of plywood, but it was too big and connected to the area under the toilet and the vanity, so that didn't work. That left chiseling the tiles off one by one, which was inefficient and not very effective. I needed a win, so I moved over to the carpet and pulled it up just to feel like I accomplished something. Also note the costume change. I worked so hard pulling out that floor, my shirt was soaked. Finally, Kevin finished up work for the day and helped me take out the plumbing. First things first, turn off the water. Once the water is off, flush the toilet to get the water out of the tank. We still had a lot of water left in the bottom, so Kevin used an old towel to try to soak some of it up. Otherwise, it would have ended up all over the floor. Once the water is gone, he used a wrench to unscrew the tank from the water line and then detach the toilet from the ground. There will be one screw on each side of the base. The theme of this section is, we should have gotten a bucket. I highly recommend having towels and a small pail to collect any excess water that comes out as you're unscrewing your pipes. Finally, I used my knife to cut the caulk around the base, and then we were able to just lift the toilet off. We plugged the hole with an old towel to stop any gases from coming out into the room, and then we left it for our plumber. Next is the sink. Start by removing the P-trap, or the curved piece of pipe. This will be filled with water and other remnants, so if you can, it's in your best interest to try to remove it without dumping all the water out. Next, turn off the water at the shutoff valves, and then you can unscrew the water supply tubes attached to the faucet. There will be 2 water supply tubes, one for hot water and another for cold. That will be the final item attaching the vanity top to the cabinet. So you're able to take off the top at this stage, which will make the remaining steps much easier. Once your vanity top is removed, you can take off the water supply tubes and shutoff valves. To remove these pieces, we needed to turn off water to the whole house, not just the faucet. A very important thing to remember, you are not finished until you put caps on the now exposed pipes. These are live pipes connected to the rest of the plumbing in your house. If you turn the water back on without the caps, you would quite literally flood your house. We also sawed off part of the pipe to allow us to remove the vanity. We will be completely moving the plumbing to a different part of the room, so we have a little bit more wiggle room with our demo. Finally, we pulled out the vanity and got it out of the room. Alright, demo is done. It only took 2 days and 3 shirts to do it, but we are finished. Well, almost finished. Kevin's still working on some plumbing issues that we found. But other than that, we're good to go. So next, we have to figure out what design we're going to do with this bathroom. Stay tuned for that and more on this channel. See you guys soon.